Jack Smith, you ain't at home laughing. I guarantee you at home looking like somebody stole his bike, for sure. This man has been taking nothing but L's, capital L's. You got to put it in all caps. All caps with the L's this year for Jack Smith, as this case has been delayed indefinitely against Trump. Oh, man, it's his fault.
Yeah, so that famous photograph, what we have now learned, and the government has had, Jack Smith and his prosecutors have had to admit that was staged. And those top secret classified sheets that all the public saw and said, oh my God, look at those top secret documents, those were placed there by the FBI. What Jack Smith admitted in court this week was that, in his word, they mishandled the classified documents and misrepresented those to the court. Maria, that's a kind way of saying we tampered with the evidence, then we lied to the court about it. And they got caught when President Trump's lawyers and the other co-defendants raised this issue and said, look, the documents here don't match up. The documents that were presented to us don't match the digitally scanned records of when they were taken from Mar-a-Lago. And Jack Smith, not only did they tamper with that and lie to the court about it, but he's now admitted to the court that he doesn't know how that happened. He's only offered a number of possible explanations for how that could have happened. So he's absolutely blown the chain of custody. And again, he has a prosecutor, lead prosecutor in this case, Jay Bratt, who met with White House counsel and a representative of the National Archives several times in the weeks before Jack Smith was even appointed. This reeks of crossfire hurricane when the Obama-Biden administration fabricated evidence before the FISA court, lied to the court about it to pursue Donald Trump, and now we're seeing it again in this classified documents case. The judge could dismiss this case at any point in time, Maria. I think the only reason that she hasn't is she wants to document this publicly.
It's a shame. I honestly wish I can look at y'all and tell y'all I was surprised, but I'm genuinely not surprised. And I'm glad that he brought up the Obama and Biden administration at that time, because people tend to look over those facts as well. They are falsifying documents. They are, not presenting the evidence in the correct manner to the court, and also manipulating evidence. But as Jack Smith would like to say, mishandled. They tampered with evidence, man. Got caught red-handed. I'm really honestly not surprised. Nobody's been saying this exact thing was gonna happen, but we knew that it would ultimately come to this. Now, it's not dismissed, and that's what we all want. I mean, what else could we want from this? It's too much, but it being delayed indefinitely with nothing scheduled, no more court proceedings. Like I said, this man Jack Smith has been taking nothing but straight L's. Capital L's. In all caps. You gotta hold the shift key. Yeah. Not only was this case garbage to begin with, but in my opinion, it should just be thrown out. We got evidence that has been tampered with, that has been played with. You know what I mean? Nah, dog, you gotta go. You gotta go ahead and get them out there. But I think we got somebody actually trying to get special counsel Jack Smith to be disbarred. Let's check this out.
Also asking for no more special counsels. Look, you guys, we saw Robert Mueller and the Russia collusion witch hunt. These are political. We're watching what Jack Smith has done. The FBI tampered with evidence and made this look completely fake with the documents. And now Jack Smith has lied in court. This is political, and the Department of Justice should never serve as the campaign arm of Joe Biden's administration and his campaign. This is wrong. President Trump is our presidential candidate. He is being abused, and the American people are fed up with it. It is absolutely the right thing to do to end the special counsel. These requests are not complicated.
Nobody's above the law. He lied in court. Ain't that something y'all should look into and actually get to work on? Y'all have proof of that already. I don't know, man. Instead, they're just going to continue this witch hunt with Trump. Shout out to MTG. I always be a little shaky about saying the first name. Is it Majory? I'll be always having to hear somebody say it first. Yeah. No excuse. Moving on. Whatever the left is accusing everybody else of doing, it is exactly what they are doing themselves. We're going to listen to Donald Trump Jr.'s take on this on an episode of Triggered.
Now, he's not with Judge Cannon, and there are now motions, and I believe your father has one, but I know his co-defendants have one, outlining prosecutorial abuse. This is part of it, but also threats made to Walt Nauda's attorney, Stanley Woodward. And so there are extensive evidence of prosecutorial abuse, and Judge Cannon is very tough on Jack Smith and his team. And she continues to do that. And so we'll see these new revelations, the motion about prosecutorial abuse, the motion to dismiss for selective vindictive prosecution that your father and his co-defendants have filed. So there's a lot happening in that case, and people can go to my Substack to check that out. All of my reporting, I have a new piece up today about what happened with the FBI photo.
Yeah, talk about that. That's, I mean, the details of that. Because again, or even honestly, give us a full chronology. Because again, I think even me, like, and it's my dad.
Right.
Like, I'm like, wait a minute, that you miss it. Because again, if it's not, so they should check out your Substack, because I'm shocked that, or I guess I shouldn't be shocked, but even the conservative side of media, like, it's there, it's all available, but they're not going all in on something like this. If this was a Democrat, like against a Democrat president, if this was Trump doing it to Biden or Obama before him, Rachel Maddow would talk about this thing 24/7, 365 for 15 years. It would be the only talking point of the left. It wouldn't matter. They'd run elections around it. And honestly, I don't see, the biggest names in conservative, barely, they'll talk, oh, he's a bad guy. It's like, wait a minute. Like, it's not like it's one thing that's an error. It's a repeated, and I don't believe in coincidence anymore, right? Just one after the other after the other. And it's like, well, if they get away with one, then it's just a snowball effect. Right. Take us through the whole thing so that people who, again, these are people that follow it. They watch this. I talk about these things, but I don't think anyone fully understands the level of insanity and just how bad it actually is. This makes the Banana Republic seem like they're normally functioning republics and democracies.
It really does. And what happened in the classified documents case, and what we now know, and I actually have a piece on Real Clear Investigations that gives this entire timeline of 2021. So as you know, Don,
3 years ago.
Right, and this is when
it's just coming out now.
Right after your father left office, and we know this now from the revelations in the classified document case. What we were told, you'll recall, is that after your father turned over 15 boxes of documents to the National Archives in January of 2022, the story was, the archivist discovered all these classified papers in there. And that's what launched the investigation. No, we now know that the DOJ, the archives, and the Biden White House, including his counsel Dana Remus, his deputy counsel Jonathan Sue, were in cahoots with the archives to concoct some sort of documents case way before, months before your father turned over those boxes to the archives. What they initially looked like they were doing was creating a document destruction case against your father. That is what these emails that the defense attorneys in the case have uncovered. They also had to FOIA some of the agencies because they weren't getting this in discovery. So this is what they pieced together, is that the story, and even Jack Smith's own indictment, is not truthful in terms of how this investigation started and then got underway after the indictments in the summer of 2023.
So given that extent, I mean, can, if they find him guilty in the Cannon case, right? Because I'm not expecting anything to happen in the DC case, right? Because, of course not, right? It was DC for a reason. Right. The Cannon case is in Florida. You've been covering it here, personally. But even for that, the grand jury was held in Washington, D.C. Right. I've never even heard of that, by the way.
You know what they say? What's in the dark always come to the light. And lately, it's been looking real bright. It's sunny. On a serious note, though, not only is this, messed up and things like that, but I think that he needs to be locked up. You lied in court, my guy, knowingly. And you also tampered with some evidence, knowingly. I mean, at least I will launch an investigation to make sure that that's proven, but we're going to see how far that goes. The oldest trick in the book. You accuse somebody of what you're doing. That's all that they've been doing. Literally, every time that they say, they're over there doing that, it's usually them talking about themselves, trying to deflect. How could you not, get away with something like that? Let me know. They always say nobody's above the law. Nobody's above the law. How could you actually get away with something like this? I could take a few guesses. You could probably be somebody on the left, that could work. And that's why I enjoy this. As Charlie Kirk put it, Trump expertly avoids violating Judge Merchan's unconstitutional gag order by using the left's own words against them. He pulls out a piece of paper and reads quotes from CNN and other news outlets on what they are saying about the case. Brilliant.
I'm going to take you to Lower Manhattan and former President Trump.
Are you a victim of extortion?
The country is on fire. There are protests all over the country. I've never seen anything like this. Many graduation ceremonies are being canceled. They're canceled, as you know, in Colombia. They're canceling a lot of them. And we have a president that just refuses to talk because he can't talk. You know that, and so does everyone else. Some of the statements made about this witch hunt on CNN, fake news CNN, Michael Moore said the proof of falsifying records has not been accomplished. On Good Morning America, they said, we heard that expense payments to lawyers are legal expenses. You pay a lawyer expense payments. We didn't put it down as construction costs, the purchase of sheetrock, the electrical cost. The legal expense that we paid was put down as legal expense. There's nothing else you could say. You don't have to put down anything, I guess. But we put down legal expense was legal expense. Is that a correct statement, Mr. Attorney? And everyone's saying, oh, gee, that's the fraud. That's what they're trying to get us on. The fact that we call a legal expense a legal expense. They marked it down in the books. The check was signed. And the other thing, this was approved by all agencies. Everybody saw this. There was nothing being hidden at all. That's what they're all writing now. There's been nothing hidden. And it went through agencies, and I guess it went through the IRS also. It went through IRS. It went through the FEC. It went through everything. Also, NBC Today showed the challenges that there is no smoking gun, no email or tape to prove the president's intent. They don't have a way to prove that. That's NBC Today show. And then Fox News, Katie Cherkasky, said that the gag order is unconstitutional, which of course it is. The gag order is unconstitutional. So with all that's going on, they have no case. Every single legal scholar that I see, I mean, maybe there's somebody out there, some whack job, but for virtually everyone that I've seen has said there's absolutely no case. It's a case that shouldn't have been brought. The previous DA wouldn't bring it. Bragg didn't want to bring it, and he brought it because I'm running in number one place. This all comes out of the White House and crooked Joe Biden. This comes from the White House, and it's all Biden because it's an attack on his political opponent. That hasn't happened in this country. It does happen in third world countries, but it hasn't happened in this country, and it's a shame. And the trial is a very unfair trial. It's a very, very unfair trial. The good news is they have nothing. Thank you.
Why is it unfair? Mr. President, do you plan on testifying?
I want to point out that's obviously a different case that he's dealing with, but I couldn't pass up on a moment of y'all actually seeing how he used them against them, bro. That was some gangster shit.